Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a good day today. My name is Jaime and I am the creator of Next Level U 360. So, I created Next Level U 360 as a personal development tool and education resource for people who are trying to grow as a person in their lives, in their happiness levels, in their entrepreneurial goals, and other various areas of a person's life. So, I'm going to do this by starting with book reviews, books that have impacted my life and helped me through some trying times and gotten me to what I call the next level me, right? So, what I want to do for you guys is help you get to the next level you. Okay? So, the first book we're going to talk about today is The Four Agreements. And the Four Agreements was written by Don Miguel Ruiz, and it's a Toltec wisdom book passed down through generations of the Toltec Society in Mexico. And this book was published in 1997. So today's PowerPoint is going to be part one, kind of the intro and overview of the topics that he presents in the book. So the main overarching theme of the beginning of the book is basically about belief systems and agreements we make in our mind, right? So belief systems are paradigms, right? Things that are in our subconscious that were taught to us by the people before us. Our most influential people such as, parents and other teachers, religious leaders, right? So he uses these two terms interchangeably, belief systems and agreements, right? So we agree that they are the truth, right? That they are part of society as a whole. That's what we agree. We make that agreement, right? So these are stored in our subconscious and they arise in various ways, and we'll go over that in more detail later on in the PowerPoint. But they reside in our subconscious, right? And how do you get to the subconscious if it's the subconscious, right? You have to make a conscious effort in order to get to the subconscious. And that can be done through like meditation and other forms of connecting with a higher power, any belief, any type of faith that people believe in, right? The point is that we want to take those negative belief systems that we develop over our childhood and adolescence and turn them into positives, right? We don't want them to hold us back anymore. And that's what he starts to talk about in this book. So when do these occur? Like I said, they occur in childhood, adolescence, and where exactly do they come from, right? Where do these belief systems come from? Like I said, they come from our parents, our teachers, our religious leaders, our siblings, and society as a whole, right? So it's going to be the most influential adults in our life. Most of them are going to be adults. Some may be older siblings and something of that sort, right? So we have the reward and punishment system, right? So when we do something as children and we get rewarded for it, we feel that love and acceptance and attention from those adult influential figures, right? And then when we get punished, we realize, oh, I don't have the love and acceptance I had before, right? So then you're less likely to repeat that behavior because of what your parents told you, because of what your teacher told you, because of what, your religious leaders may have told you, right? So it's not a good feeling, right? You're like, okay, well, I don't want to do that again, or I don't want to upset them. But it's not only punishment, because I know that children are very observational and they listen very well. So it may not even be just a punishment, but it may be you having a conversation with your friend and your child is listening, right? So your child is listening and he makes that connection that, oh, well, they're saying negative things about so-and-so. That must mean that is wrong, or that person is wrong. Let me not be like that person, because they want to be loved and accepted, right? All of us do. So belief systems, a little bit more about belief systems is that they are familiar. Like I said, they arise in childhood. Don Miguel Ruiz does a really good job of covering this topic. They're familiar. They provide that safe environment, that safe atmosphere of comfort, right? They've been there since we were children, since we were adolescents into adulthood, and they're not going to change unless we make a conscious effort for them to change, right? And there's different types of belief systems. Not all belief systems are bad, right? You may have grown up in a very love-based family with positive belief systems, And again, no family is perfect, and I don't think any parent is trying to have fear-based belief systems instilled in their children, not on purpose. It's just something that's been passed down from generation to generation, right? And you'll discover that as you grow into your personal development journey. So I just want to kind of point that out. Not all belief systems are fear-based or negatively impacting people, right? Some families, some communities have more love-based belief systems. So fear is like an overarching theme, not just in this book, many books and many areas of emotional integration and life as a whole, right? So fear, we have a natural tendency to go towards fear. And what are we afraid of? We're afraid that if we are ourselves, if we be ourselves, we may not get the love and acceptance we're looking for, right? From whoever, from whatever influential figure that may look like for you. So what do we do instead? We pretend. We pretend to be something we're not. We pretend to be that beautiful bride for my husband, for your husband, right? So you pretend that you're vegan to impress a guy. And those are just some superficial examples, but a lot of these fear-based paradigms or belief systems go into all of that pretending, right? You want to pretend to be who they want you to be, right? In order to achieve that feeling of being loved and accepted. So one other thing about parents, I know like he talks about parents being probably the most influential adult in a child's life, right? So I just want to point out that most parents have the best intentions for their children. No one is intending to, derail you or set you up for failure or make you have all these feelings of rejection or set high expectations. A lot of times they may realize it after the fact, after you go away to college, after it's done, right? Like the paradigms have been passed down and whatever you understood from your life and your time with them, that is what is set, right? But most parents have the best intentions and every parent has a different way of presenting that to their children, right? So I don't want you to walk away from this video saying, man, my parents really messed me up, because most parents have the best intentions for their children. And you also have to look at it from a perspective that they were taught by their elders, by their parents who were also born in a different time. And your parents were also born in a different generation as well, right? 20 or 30 years ago, the America we know or the world we know was very different than the world we know today. And they also may not have been aware of many things. Now information is much more easily transmitted through multiple mediums of media, right? Multiple videos, multiple books. There's all types of topics and information available for people. So maybe your parents were never exposed to that type of information, right? So they don't know what they don't know. So in your personal development journey, your parents are obviously going to have a great role in a positive or negative or maybe neutral type of way, right? But either way, I just want you to kind of have an open mind to these topics here, right, that I've listed on this slide, because it's easy to play the blame game. It's easy to play the hold a grudge against your parents. Your life is a wreck because of them. And, maybe they did their best, but maybe they could have done better. But honestly, the past is in the past and you're responsible for the adult decisions that you make. And if they did have the best intentions but kind of passed on some not so great belief systems, now it's your turn. It's your chance to put your life together in the way that best suits you, okay? So you're an adult and now you can do something about it, okay? So that's just my little slide on parents. So, agreements. Going back to the idea of agreements. When people say things to us that are negative, that are insulting, for example, being called fat and ugly, usually when things hurt our feelings, it's because we actually agree with them, right? If I thought I was a number 10, I was a 10 on the attractive scale, and I was God's gift to earth, and somebody calls me ugly, I would just say, hey, they're crazy, whatever, and keep walking, right? So, you have to agree with it. You have to actually say, oh my God, I'm so angry that he said that. But why are you so angry? Why is it so upsetting if somebody says that kind of stuff to you? Unless you agree with it, unless you think, oh, I really am fat. Oh, I really am ugly. You are whatever you think you are. That's the truth of the matter, right? Your opinion is the most valuable opinion, especially once you reach adulthood, Just keep that in mind. That means there's some level of agreement that you have when people say hurtful things to us, right? Keep that in mind. So triggers, what I just said about people saying negative or insulting things to us, that can be a trigger for something in you that holds some type of agreement or truth, right? So when we have conversations with people, when we overhear conversations of parents, or when we have experiences in life, good and bad, sometimes these types of things challenge our agreements, challenge our belief systems, and it can lead to an uncomfortable feeling. Sometimes even negative emotions can arise from these types of conversations or experiences or overhearing of conversations, right? So it may give rise to these negative emotions. And negative emotions as a whole, there's a list of very common repetitive emotions that most people will experience at some point in their life, including but not limited to guilt, disappointment, anger, right? Rejection, self-rejection, all of these different types of emotions. And most of them come back to the overarching theme in our lives that we felt like we were not good enough, right? We were not good enough. I remember I watched a video of Tony Robbins speaking to a whole group of people, and he asked them, raise your hand if you feel like you're not good enough, or at some point in your life you haven't done enough, or you haven't pleased your parents, or you just basically feel like you're not enough, right? Like almost the entire room raised their hands. And this was like a large number of thousands of people, right? And many of them very successful. Many of them already millionaires, entrepreneurs, have money, not really having much financial insecurity. But that's the thing. These emotions don't care how much money you have, right? And a lot of the time, these emotions are kind of what propel us to overcompensate in those areas of, if I can just make $1 million, if I can just impress my family, if I can just, all these things, and they push you into that next level of success, but the emotion remains. So a lot of those negative emotions can basically be kind of, grounded into this one feeling of not being good enough, right? And what do we do with that? What do we do with that knowledge once we know that, once I just revealed that truth to you? And we are going to learn to self-love. We have to self-love, right? The more we self-love, the less we self-punish. There's going to be less self-punishment in that area of our life, right? And so this is kind of a paraphrase of what he talks about in the book. So he says, if hell is a place of punishment, why do we constantly punish ourselves? Give yourself a break from the negativity, the unreachable expectations of perfection you put on yourself and other people put on you. We repeatedly punish ourselves and our loved ones for old mistakes. Like, we are the only species on the planet that makes a mistake and then we continuously punish ourselves over that same mistake. Like, you eventually have to realize and move forward from that past mistake, right? And then for example, if you're married and you have a spouse, like you also have to let go of that past mistake. You either let go or get divorced. And I'm not, saying people should get divorced or people should stay married. That's a very personal decision. But I'm just saying, like, you can't constantly be bombarding, oh, remember that one time 3 years ago when you forgot our anniversary? I mean, come on, people. It's time to live in the present and think about the future and drop the past. And trust me, I lived this. I've been on my personal development journey for 5+ years. I've had multiple life coaches. I've read multiple books. This is not an easy thing to do, okay? But if you're committed to yourself, you can definitely make baby steps every day and celebrate your wins along the way, okay? So stop punishing yourself, stop punishing other people, other loved ones, and start living in the present. So this is a direct quote from the book, and he says, to be alive is the biggest fear humans have. Death is not the biggest fear we have. Our biggest fear is taking the risk to be alive and express what we really are. We just want to be accepted, right? Don Miguel Ruiz. So that's all we want. We want to be accepted. And a lot of times we feel like if we are ourselves, we won't be accepted, or somebody's not going to love us for who we are, right? And that's the thing. You start to see, once you open up and express who you really are, the people who actually are going to support you for reals and stand by you, they're the ones who are going to stick around, right? So those are the people you want to surround yourself with. So just a little food for thought. Don't let fear dictate your life, right? And eventually, on your personal development journey, you'll get to the point where you accept yourself, right? Because if you don't accept yourself, well, then yeah, you're always going to be in that cycle of wanting love and acceptance from other people, right? But once you have it for yourself, it becomes a lot easier. So the 4 agreements we're going to talk about next week, the actual 4 agreements. This was just like an introduction to the book, kind of what he talks about with belief systems, fear-based and love-based belief systems. I added the love-based belief systems because I don't want it to be all negative, right? I want you to also walk out of here knowing, okay, I came from a family that we hugged a lot, we kissed a lot, we enjoyed each other's company, we always expressed how we felt with each other. Maybe you came from a love-based family. Most people do, right? So next week, I'm going to publish another video on the actual 4 agreements, which is going to help jumpstart you into your next level of growth, right? So the next level you. So I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you are excited about next week's video, because I know I'm excited, and I really hope I say we like I'm your coach, but that I can help you get to the next level. If you really liked what I talked about in this video, please subscribe to my channel, Next Level U360. I would absolutely appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great evening. Bye.